My name is Nariman Arif and I'm an art design and media major. I'm a photographer, designer, and painter.
My name is Christina Jackson and I'm an art design and media major and I'm a painter.
My name is Haley Stevens and my major is art design and media and I'm a photographer.
My name is Deanna Nishi. I'm an arts major, so I study under the ADM program.
My name is Christopher Ifelice. I'm an art design media major and I specialize in film and photography.
My name is Antoinette Mason. I'm an art design and media major. I'm not technically an artist, but a designer.
My full name is Pavel Stoichev, but people know me as Pav, and I'm studying art design and media. I like fashion design, and I also like photography.
I'm Anastasia Fedorova. I am an art design and media major. I am primarily a photographer using analog and fine art photography, but I also do a bit of sculpture and installation work.
My name is Negar Mashachi and I'm Adam major I think I'm a graphic designer.
My name is Sanya Morjani. I'm an Adam major, which is art design and media, and I also do a minor in film studies. My main focus is filmmaking, direction, and cinematography.
My name is Elnaz Rahimpour. I'm an Adam major, and I'm a sculptor and a painter.
My name is Becca Hall. I'm an art design and media major, and I'm an abstract painter.
Okay, my name is Susana de Castro, and I'm double majoring in communications and art design and media, and I'm a graphic designer.
My name is Shauna Haddad. I'm an art design and media major and with a specialization in painting, and I mainly use oil paint.
I started making art to find a way to express myself in ways that words can't, and it started when I was young.
I've always been interested in art, and the first time I'd say I picked up a digital camera was when I was a sophomore in high school, and from the moment I did that, I went out on my property and went on a walk and saw things differently and decided to further pursue it.
I started art when I was really young, so like in 3rd grade, and basically from there it just became an interest. I would do like extracurricular activities surrounding art, and then I became more interested in it. And it wasn't until university where I started taking it more seriously and seeing it as a type of job I could actually do.
I guess I started to become an artist or start making art when I was in high school. It's something that I know that I'll always have a passion for. So to have a background in photography as well as film, I feel like they mix together because using still image and moving image and being able to put them together is just something very useful to know if you're going into the field of film.
I started when I first entered high school. I chose the art programs that they offered throughout my courses, and that's where it all began. I continued on to taking the International Baccalaureate art program as well, and then to university to do art design and media.
And then why do you do it?
I do it because I always had a fascination with drawing, colors, painting. Like I always wanted to dip my finger into paint or just sketch something. I'm always doodling, and I thought, hey, I got a knack for it, so why not just continue with it?
I started making art in school when I was younger, in about year 7. And I really enjoyed painting. That's how I started. And then I just started exploring new mediums. And I enjoyed design and then went on to photography. When I came to Richmond, I discovered analog photography, and I'm pretty passionate about it. I do art because it's something that I'm passionate about.
I haven't had a specific point when I decided to do art or something. I always kind of knew that I'm creative and I like art, but there was no specific time when I decided to do art, so just kind of came with the time, I guess.
I've always made art since really young. Started photography about 6 years ago with digital, and for me it's a way to communicate a message or connect with others, specifically a message that you can't really use words to communicate. And just the visual process, I find that it's more direct, more immediate to understand and to, I guess, intuit and bring about not just, a rational message, but also something that you can feel like with all the senses.
Like since I was a kid, I was enjoying art, so my parents encouraged me to continue my major in art design and media, because I was studying graphic design before.
How did I start making art? Well, I was in high school and we had a class project and we had to make a small film on a topic, and I knew nothing about filmmaking or even using editing softwares or anything, so I just picked up a camera and put a few clips together, and I worked out how to put them together, and I quite enjoyed the process. So ever since then I've been quite attached to it, and I love using this program to actually make films and short films and stuff, so it's quite fun.
How did I start making art? I don't remember a specific time that I started making art, but since I was a child, I really like to do drawing, paintings with watercolor, so that's how my parents first realized I'm so into art, and they put me in art school, and that's how I started making art.
I started making art because in high school, my art classes were the only classes I really cared about. And I continued making it because I always felt this really strong urge to push the medium of painting as far as I can.
I started making art since I was little. I used to draw and take photographs. Then in high school, I had to take this art course, and they showed me how to work with InDesign, Illustrator, and basically I started generating a passion for this graphic design kind of world.
I make art to kind of give myself an opportunity to digest and observe and digest the world around me, and then reinterpret it to kind of slow everything down and give me time to process everything around me.
Why do I want to be an artist? Well, the question more is I didn't really want to be an artist. I kind of wanted to express myself in a creative way, and I fell into becoming an artist.
I want to be an artist because it makes me the happiest of all the subjects, and the freedom that's involved. It's just amazing how you can do anything, and it makes me the happiest.
So I'm doing art because I love it.
Yep.
I want to be an artist because it's a way to help express the way you feel, and it's not always simple to say what you feel. You have to show the way you feel. So becoming an artist is a way to do that, whether it's photography or film.
I think the field is rapidly growing as we speak, and it will be a good opportunity for me to make myself known in society through my art. So I would just want to share my creativeness with the world, because each person has their own personal creative aspects.
I want to be an artist because it's the only thing that I'm happy doing, and it doesn't feel like work for me because I actually enjoy it and I'm passionate about it.
Well, that kind of relates back to the previous question. I want to be an artist because I really enjoy doing it, is the first thing. And the second thing is that because I really like expressing my opinion about social issues and that kind of thing. So I think that it's a really good way for me just to do it in this way. I think that that's the easiest thing for me.
Well, honestly, I can't really see myself do anything else besides being an artist. It's just working with the materials I use, and it's just something that, I don't know, that's a hard one. I don't know, I can't put into words.
I think it's personal. I enjoy art. Just want to create art because of myself. I get a feeling from my works.
I think firstly I enjoy the profession. I think it's a lot of fun. You make your money as well as you get your you enjoy the work as well as making money for it. And also I think, like I said before, I want to make an impact on someone's life, and I think my films are my medium to do that. Basically, it's my platform to actually send a message out to the people.
Simply because I enjoy making art, and as an artist, I think I think being an artist allows you to notice things that other people don't and seeing the world more intensely, and I like that. And it also allows you to create that vision that you have towards stuff on canvas, let's say, or like other things.
I want to be an artist because I have this innate curiosity to explore artistic materials and see how far I can push them out of their designated medium.
Something that it's very good to know, and I would love to like be able to become someone that can make art happen.
I want to make art because art today is obsessed with the subjective truth as opposed to trying to create a blanket ruling for everybody else, like other professions and other kind of journalists and lawyers and politicians and whatnot. They kind of generalize a little too much, whereas artists really are interested in finding what is important to the individual as opposed to the mass.
I work with usually a canvas paint medium such as watercolor, oil, spray paints, and I listen to music, and whatever I hear or whatever the melody drives me, I create in the form of an image.
I work by, or my best work tends to be candid, so I take my camera out on the streets or in the country, whatever it is, and I just shoot, and I shoot whatever I see, and basically I prefer it to be candid. So then I take it back into my room or house or wherever I am and go through the post-production process of it.
We try to brainstorm several ideas. If that doesn't work, I'll try to, depending on the project, but I'll try to look for different types of artists that I can refer to and get inspired from. And then usually I'd use like Photoshop or InDesign to like mock up a sketch or something.
When I'm doing photography, I like to work in the studio. I like to be able to have control over my subject. When it comes to film, any type of film, really, I enjoy, whether it's documentary making, whether it's a feature film, whether it's short films, whether it's promotional videos.
I technically work in the middle of the night. I don't like to work during the day at all. I begin with sketches, preferably, and then I scan them into Photoshop, Illustrator, or whichever Adobe program I'm working with, and then everything takes flight from there.
I start by finding a topic that interests me. I create a certain theory about it, or if I want it to be abstract, I just build my case towards this kind of topic, and then I look into its history, because I definitely look into the past first before I make up my own theories, and then of course develop it into something artistic.
I don't have a specific process, but normally I would do, for a project, I would just do a massive research, and this research will take probably a couple of weeks, and I would just do the work in a couple of days. So I think that the main thing about each project is learning about the topic rather than representing it in a very long and big process.
Let's see, my process. Usually I begin with a question or a quote, some sort of, I guess you could put it, say, research question, and then do a bunch of reading around it, a lot of experimenting in the studios, like if it's photography, start in the studio, do a bunch of test shoots, develop them, see how they come out, and then kind of take it from there with sketches and further reading and whatnot. So it's kind of a collaborative process between actually reading about the subject and actually, using the process to come to a conclusion or come to an answer.
Sometimes I inspire from a music, or when I'm sitting in the classroom, something comes into my mind, so I just write it down somewhere in a sketchbook or in a piece of paper, and I try to develop that.
Well, basically, my process is it's a little haywire because I don't have a certain schedule, but whenever I'm looking at an article or magazine, a clip or a photo, and I see something I like, a topic I like, or a style I like, I tend to extract that and try to make something around it, try to make a concept, and then I work from there to make a short film or a movie on that concept.
I don't have any specific process. It depends on my mood. So if I want to do a painting, sometimes I do loads of sketches, sometimes I don't. I start right on the canvas, start making my sketches on the canvas. And if that's a sculpture, I'm gonna have a piece of clay and start making my sculpture. So I don't follow rules usually.
I like to work in the painting studio because when other people are around, I have someone to bounce ideas off of. And my process begins by making tons of paint sketches and just experimenting with materials until I find something that works and I can transfer it onto a larger board.
I usually work at home very late at night with music on, and like nobody can be like around me because I get very distracted easily.
I work in a pretty traditional studio space, and starts with something catching my eye during my day or just random little things that happen to me.
Music inspires me. Music and melody.
The people I meet, the places I go, my family, other photographers such as Sally Mann, Man Ray, and Special Chicago. Mostly it's the places that I end up going because I'm primarily interested in traveling.
Sometimes the ideas I get just inspired by just the things around me. But like I said, if no ideas come, then I'll have to refer to an artist like Noma Bar. It depends on the type of project, so.
My inspiration comes from a variety of different sources. I really enjoy looking on the internet and at different colleagues' works. This is where I get a lot of my ideas. So being able to have those two focal points in my life is very beneficial for my inspiration when it comes to becoming an artist and being an artist.
A lot of research inspires me. My Instagram profile, I follow a lot of photographers, designers, and just seeing their works pushes me more to do work on their levels because they're more professional than I am, and I think that's my motivation and my inspiration.
What inspires me is everything, really. At the moment, it's physics. I think it's very interesting because it's mysterious and it's real.
Many things, like I get inspiration from shops, magazines, research, some objects at home even, quite a lot of things, so it could be anything really. It depends on the project.
I get my inspiration from just a lot of various places, from the world, from my life, from various things I read. A quote can sometimes begin a project or raise a question, and then I just try to, go as deep as I can into it and try to uncover all the various layers of, this topic that I'm currently, working at or researching.
Other people's work inspires me, and I attend lots of exhibitions, and I enjoy browsing down on the internet.
That's a toughie. I'm constantly inspired by a lot of different people, a lot of different things that happen around. There's not one certain person that inspires me, but for me, I'll watch a new film that a recent director's produced, and I see something they made, and suddenly I want to make the same thing, and that happens quite often. So whenever I see something that inspires me, a film or a photograph or whatever, I try to make something parallel to that according to my own style. So yeah, that happens quite often. And without being inspired, I won't start a film. I won't start making anything.
What inspires me? There are loads of things that inspires me. Could be an artist, a conversation I hear in a tube, or many other things. But I mainly am my own inspiration because most of my works are extremely self-related. So that's how I say.
I'm very inspired by materials and process, and I try to express that through my work.
No, society is the main focus that inspires me, and it's not like society is like everything, like TV shows, movies, people that you see on the streets, everything, like the daily life.
My inspirations mainly come from little everyday things that just catch my eye. a lot of the times it's based on the accident, so like a wrinkle in a piece of clothing or a certain leaf that changes a strange color or like a rip in a piece of paper or something like that. So it's really based on accident and chance.
I never do. What helps me to complete a work, when I know it's finished, is when an audience member or someone, a viewer, sees it and gives me their viewpoint. Then I know my work is done.
That's something that's really hard to explain for me, because it's kind of a moment when I just know, like it's an unconscious moment when I say, okay, this is done. It's kind of hard to explain, but as an artist, I just know.
When I'm happy with it, I know that my work is finished.
Being able to tell whether or not your work is completed or not is very difficult for someone who considers themselves an artist. Everybody's work is different, and being able to put a final stamp on a photo or on a video is something difficult, because there's always something that you could change.
It's never finished. I'm always tweaking something or going back months later and adding something that I think should have been there initially. So I don't think anyone's artwork is ever really finished.
I don't think that work is ever finished. I think that each project you do is something that leads you closer to your next project. It's constantly an ongoing thing.
I think that the work is a mirror of your ideas and your research and your process. And I think that whatever you have in your head, if you can see it in your work, then it means that it's all done.
I don't see any of the pieces that I've made so far as finished in like the larger sense. In and of themselves, they're complete, but to me, they're still tests and part of this experiment that's driving towards something. But I'm not quite sure what the answer is yet. So I don't know if it'll ever be complete.
Depends what material I'm working. Like in my paintings, usually I can work on them forever. And on other works like posters, photographs, I think I know they are finished.
That's a tricky one, because I'm never content with my final product, even though I know it's nothing more I can do to it. I always feel there's something more I can actually add to it, but I think at the end you just kind of have to, have faith and have someone else come and watch your final piece and get an opinion. I think that's why I know I'm actually done, when I have a second opinion and they actually tell me that it's perfect. I don't see anything else you can change.
I never know when a work is finished, but because it happened to me it's really hard to tell when a work is finished, because sometimes you think a work is finished and you look at it an hour later and think, okay, there are lots of stuff I can do. So you should stop at some point. It's really hard to tell.
I never know when my work is finished. I just have to wait until I reach a point where my gut just tells me to stop.
I know when my work is finished when I cannot add anything else to it, or I cannot think about anything else.
I know when a work is finished when I feel that I cannot add or subtract anything from the piece to make it communicate my initial idea any better. So it's a feeling. It's not a definitive point.